Okay. Hi, Percy. I see you're in. Welcome, everyone. We just opened up the room. We are going to be streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So however you want to watch this, go ahead. A couple more minutes. All right. Sarah, Jenny, Station, Stephanie. Okay. Hi, Sarah. No H. Okay, you're not in the stream yet, so I can't hear you, but I just want to make sure you can hear me. Cool. All right, we're waiting for one more guest, and just a couple minutes until we'll start to get people in the room, which is excellent. We've got some guests in here. Please say hello in the comments. Hi, Little Village. Hi, Hellscape. Hi, Sulin. I'm so glad everybody can see this. Oh, hi, Diane. Okay, good. We've got lots of cool folks trickling in. This is excellent. We're gonna have a cool chat today. All right. A couple more minutes. And if anybody has, hi, William. If anybody has any questions, we are having a Q&A at the end of this, so please post them in the comments. And Sarah, NFT VIP, I was wondering if maybe you could be my doppelganger in the comment section and kind of organize the comments for, organize the questions we might have at the end of the Q&A at the end. If you see them coming in, and then maybe you could run that part. You could, I'll open it up and then you can come in and say so-and-so had a question, and then we can go from there. Oh, hi, Emily. Oh, cool. Emily is here. Excellent. So, all right. I'm going to start it at 12:05. Just give people about 3 more minutes because I just opened the room up. Again, I apologize for the music. I can't do anything about it. Hi, Kitty. Welcome. Oh, good. Suze, you got in. Okay, cool. All right. So. Hello, everyone. Jesse, you're live. Hi, Misha. Oh, I'm so excited. We've got some cool people in here. So let me turn off the music. This terrible music. 1 second. Yeah, we're getting rid of that music. Okay, Jesse, do you want to unmute yourself?
Would love. Everybody, we're so happy to have you here. We're hoping to provide a lot of value, a lot of information, and have some questions and have some fun. So we're grateful everybody showed up. So we really are ready to get going. And thank you again for coming.
Yeah, I think so. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Hello, people. Hi, Randy. How are you? We've got some cool friends coming in. This is live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So I'm not exactly sure how. I think the comments all come into one place, but we'll see. This is a service called StreamYard I'm using. It's I've never used it before, but it's actually pretty cool. It's a pretty powerful tool. So we are going to get going and just kind of be in this together, man. Welcome. Welcome, welcome to our first town hall. I am Sarah Munson. This is my co-founder, Jesse Rosenblatt.
Hey, everyone.
Hello, and we are the founders of Gen-X NFTs. And yeah, I'll just real quick brief. I want to keep this to an hour and then just get all of our amazing, fabulous guests up here to talk because we have a lot to talk about. I'm really excited. So I just want to, thank you for coming. It's nice to see so many curious people. So, again, like I said, I'm Sarah. I'm the founder of Gen-X NFTs. We're a retro pop culture Web3 brand focused on onboarding 80s kids into this new technology using core memories from childhood through education, adoption, membership, and online and IRL community. So, this is a new thing for me in the sense that I've been in Web3 for about a year and a half, and I've been, into crypto for about 4 years. But I'm a creator though. I'm a writer by trade. I've written Super Bowl commercials, music videos, Fortune 100 commercials over the past 10 years. I used to be a reality show casting director. So I know what kind of content, catches people's attention and how to communicate it in effective ways to reach millions. So I'm turning these skills towards effectively educating and exciting Gen Xers and the people who love them about the possibilities in Web3. And you don't have to be a Gen Xer to be here. You can be a geriatric millennial, which is the worst term ever, or a boomer, or a Gen Z, or a parent. I mean, this is information for everybody. I'm a non-digital native. I'm an analog kid. I know many of us are. And I think that it's important to have learn the language of Web3 in order to, thrive in this new world that we are going to be in. So that is enough about me. That was our welcome. I'm going to go through a slide presentation today, and we'll bring up some wonderful speakers, and we'll have a great conversation about why Gen X are hesitant to, come into this Web3 and NFT space. It's coming, it's here, and I think that I'm hoping that this will be a really valuable presentation that you can learn from, but also share with other people that might also need more information, because there are a lot of reasons not to get into it, but there are many more reasons to get into it. So the agenda, we're going to talk about what is Web3, what are NFTs. I'm going to intro the panel. We're going to have a panel discussion, a Q&A, and we're going to have a secret word reveal for a POAP. So I'm jumping us into the deep end here for people who maybe don't know what the hell I'm talking about. A POAP is effectively an NFT meets a ticket stub. And at the end of this presentation, I will give you a secret word to go claim your very own POAP. And if you have a wallet, a MetaMask wallet or other crypto wallet, you can download the POAP app right away. And just go download it once you get the secret word. If you don't have a wallet, fear not. I'm going to do a MetaMask wallet walkthrough. And super excited. I know, yeah, Little Village, what the heck is a POAP? I know. I will explain what a POAP is. Huh? See, I know my audience, right? What is a POAP? So a POAP is like a ticket stub from a concert you attended, only it's online. It stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol. And yes, it is an NFT. So they're popular in Web3 because you can only get them if you actually go to an event like this town hall. It's social proof, and they're collectible and tradable, and they're always free, and they're a wonderful way to show support for a community you're in, show support for an event. Everybody is adopting them, Web2 and Web3 companies. I go to any, Web3 crypto event, they have POAPs. I attend online movie nights with my friends, they have POAPs. It's a really fun thing. You can really make them a really fun thing, and it's a way to express yourself and art and all this fun stuff. So if you want right now, you can go to poapp.xyz or go to the app store on your phone and download it. This little picture in the corner shows what it is. And oh yeah, hi Vivian. And 1 second, here we go. Go to poapp.xyz or to your app store to download it, and just sit on that for a little bit, because you'll need to enter your wallet address and then the secret word at the end of this presentation. So, or not, you don't have to, you can just watch, do it later. This will be recorded. You know, I don't want to throw you in the deep end right away, but I do want to get your feet wet. So I want to introduce our guests now. First up is Sarah Blankenship. She is the voice of Gen X Nation. She's a career coach. She is a fellow Gen Xer. She has this amazing LinkedIn group online, and it's just my people. I stumbled across her on oh, I'm so sorry. Sarah, could you put the, sorry, I just got a text from somebody that can't get in the room. So Sarah, sorry to be distracted here. I'm like multitasking here. So Sarah is, we met on LinkedIn and I discovered her thing, and I'm going to put her, in the comments here, I'm going to put all of her socials so everybody can follow her. And I'm going to bring her up. I'm going to add you to the stream, and you can, you can show your face if you want to. You can go live. I think I'm doing this right. Can you hear me, Sarah?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. It's so nice to see you. Okay, cool. Hey, there you are. There she is. Hi. Wonderful. So yes, so I put her, so she's our first guest, and I thought that she would be a really, really great person to talk to, because she is very new to Web3. And we had a call the other day and I was babbling away with her, and just, I feel like I confused her even more, and I was trying to be helpful, right? You tell me, right? And so we have Sarah here because I want you to tell me when I am going too deep in the woods, in the weeds. You can be like, hey, take a step back. I already am trying to still process what a POAP is, you know? And I think that she's just the perfect person of exemplifies who I'm trying to reach, you know, a really smart, successful Gen Xer who is still confused about this, knows that it's something to be curious about, but maybe doesn't know how to access it. So thank you for joining today. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, this is great. And so then we also have up here, we have with the wonderful Angela Whaley. I'm going to have you come up. 1 second, add you to stream. Hello, how are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. So Angela is so interesting because she is actually kind of on the other end of the spectrum. She is immersed in Web3, and she's doing music NFTs and marketing, and she's also doing kick-ass stuff in the mental health field. She's amazing. So I want to, it's really cool to have, I want people to see what people are doing in this space that aren't just tech bros and aren't just what you see on the news, which are a bunch of like young Gen Z kids driving around in Lambos with their monkey JPEGs. You know, there's a bajillion members of this community that are not those people. And I think that is a barrier to entry for a lot of Gen Xers, because they just assume they're just a bunch of, you know, not them is the best way to put it. And so we'll talk with you soon. So I also want to introduce Emily. So Emily is super cool. I'm going to add you to the stream here. Miss Emily, hello. I think you're muted. So if you wanted to come off, unless I have to unmute you. Oh, it says.
No, it was me. I have to unmute myself. Yeah, I was like trying to figure out if I could put up a meme of like the Ralph Wiggum on the bus that says, haha, I'm a tech bro.
Oh, for sure. Exactly.
I can't do that.
Hello. That's great. Hello. Yeah, we real quick before I do, so Angela, just real quick, I'm going to put her socials up real quick here too. Check her out, follow her. These are all just amazing people doing incredible things in this space. So I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to have conversations with them afterwards. So Emily Loves Crypto. She is deep into the crypto pool. She is the co-founder of Foolproof Labs, which is the safest way to transact in Web3. And I'm super curious to have her on here talking about this. And we will, as soon as I kind of talk about what the hell Web3 is, because I think another huge barrier of entry to people in Web3 is that they think it's a scam, or they think they're going to get scammed, or they don't know if they can trust it. And so I feel like that's a really important conversation to have as well. So I'm going to put your information here and keep the conversation going. And so now we've got Stephanie and Nathania. Very excited to have you both here. So I'm going to bring you guys up.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys.
Hello.
So yeah, I'm so happy you're here. This is a dynamic duo, Stephanie and Nathania. And we met. Nathania. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And you're coming to us from Europe, I believe.
Yes, exactly. Switzerland.
I love it. This is a worldwide thing. I love it. This is the cool thing about this town hall. You know, we're in all time zones. We're all types of people, but you know, the thing we all have in common is that we're Gen X, or we know and love somebody who is. So welcome to our support group. So we met. I met Stephanie and Nathania in a weekly mastermind called for women in Web3. And they've been on this exciting journey with, you know, for quite some time as well. And I just want to say that they are hosting a really kick-ass cool conference called Audacity. It's a metaversal women's empowerment conference. So, check that out. It's going to be cool. I'm putting the links in here. And and also anybody that's up here, if you want to post anything else in the comments on ways people can reach out or get a hold of you, if they have questions, concerns, comments, all that good stuff, please, please, please. And I also want to introduce my community managers. I'm not going to bring them up quite yet, but Suze and Sarah, they're working behind the scenes. They're amazing. And Jesse, you disappeared, but you can, let's just keep the ladies up here for a while. Yeah, so next thing. So I want to talk about what is Web3, and then we'll get into more of a conversation. But I feel that people watching and people that will be watching, they might not even know. And I just want to kind of tell you what it isn't and then what it is. And if I'm, totally open, if you want to add your comments and fight me, whatever. I mean, this is an open conversation, let's do it. So so what is Web3? It's not the metaverse. It's not crypto. It's not Bitcoin. It's not an NFT. So can we all agree on this, everyone? Oh, and Sarah Blankenship, this is for you. So you've probably heard of Web3. And I know when I first heard of Web3, I thought it was the metaverse. I thought it was crypto. I thought all of these things. So the Web3, well, I'll get in. Okay. See, you'll get in the weeds right away. I'm gonna not do that to you like our conversation the other day. Okay. Yeah, I see that. Thank you. People need to Phoebe said people need to particularly understand that Web3 is not crypto. That's very true, because you can absolutely exist in the metaverse and not ever do anything with crypto. All right. So what is Web3? Web3 is the next phase of the internet, to put it simply. And then, of course, the question I would always ask is, wait, there are phases of the internet? So let's talk about them. I don't know if you can see it under the live button, but yeah, so Web 1, I just want to briefly go into this. Web 1 was the first iteration of the World Wide Web. It was developed in the 90s. It was primarily used to look at information. It was read only. My Gen X analogy is that it's a library. You go and you access a wide range of information out of the Encyclopedia Britannica because you have a book report due, and you can look at the documents, but you can't share or contribute your own content. So that is, for me as a Gen Xer, that was my first, entree into Web 1. And that lasted for a while. And then Web 2 came along, which is where we live now. It's been around since 2004. So gosh, almost 20 years. And, it's the interactive web. It's everything we do. It's social media, like Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. It's watching streaming videos. It's doing what we're doing right here, posting videos of your food, chatting. It's everything you buy online, Amazon, Etsy, Google. It's every app on phone. And it's also very centralized, meaning that only a few mega corporations own everything. What do you guys think about that? How do we all feel about that description? Thoughts?
Makes sense. You're not in the weeds.
Cool. Yay. Okay, good. Cool. So
you're not in the weeds, but
I'm not in the weeds yet.
No, but
yeah, go on.
There's a breakdown that I personally like to use as well when I'm trying to explain the difference of the generations of the internet, I guess. And, Web 1 is really just the internet, right? You can slap up an HTML website and host it from your, computer at your house, and people can access it now that it's been uploaded online. But it didn't have the ability to transact financially. Web 2 came with that, right? The integration of credit cards, payment systems, monetization online, and then Web 3, kind of the combo, but you're getting there.
Exactly. No, that's so very well put. And that is exactly where I was headed, which is very cool. Okay, let me pull up my notes here. So yes, Web 3 then is the decentralized internet. So, and that's right now in Web 2, this is a generalization, but we have very few, very rich, very powerful companies that kind of run the internet. It's the Apples, it's the Amazons, it's the Googles. And with Web3, this is a broad generalization, but everyone will own it to a degree. And more importantly, you will own your information and have more control over your online identity. What do you think about that, Emily, as far as anybody type in, as far as like keeping it so simple? I mean, it's so much more. But
right. I think what's resonated with a lot of people recently is the big LastPass data hack, right? And the big problem with LastPass was also its biggest advantage is in that it's reduced friction for user management. It allowed me a centralized place of storage for all of my content. But what that also did was create a centralized place of failure. And with Web3, we have the opportunity for decentralized user management, where instead of attacking a mega data store, you have to go after every single individual if you want to break into their content.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and they make it really difficult because you have these crazy long, wallet addresses and seed phrases, and everything lives on a bajillion different blockchain or blocks on the blockchain. So speaking a different language here, but I wanted to just give some examples of how Web3 allows individuals more control over their lives, and feel free to pop in with any, examples of your own panel, or if anybody has any questions, and if anybody in the audience, has any questions too, just put them in the comments. But, I was thinking about how Web3 will allow people to create and control their own digital identities, again, rather than relying on a centralized entity. So if you think about how you have a Gmail or an AOL, if you're really old school, remember AOL.com, you have decades of information on it. It's your email. It's just it's a whole history of your online life, but let's say you lose your password or you can't remember your backup code. This happened to me once. It was devastating. I somehow violated Yahoo's terms of service. I don't know how, but I got locked out of my email and I lost everything for years since I've been online. And it was devastating because there were like letters from emails from family that had died, and I couldn't get those back. And it was just so devastating. And I could not reach anybody at this big conglomerate of Yahoo. I didn't have any power, no control. And so that won't really happen in Web3 so much. And I won't go into that too much because it's a lot of technical stuff, but you own your information more in Web3. And essentially, and I don't know too much about this yet because it's a little, you'll own your email essentially. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody listening. Like, imagine 20 years ago, if you could have bought Sarah.com or Angela.com or Emily.com, you would own that. And you can do that now. You can buy Sarah.eth or Jesse.crypto. There are ENS services and naming services just like GoDaddy for the Web3 space. I'm kind of taking a shot in the dark. I believe this is true, but I feel like with GoDaddy, you're basically renting your URL. You have to pay for that every year. And with unstoppable domains, they're a website service, Web3 like GoDaddy, but you just pay once and you own it. You don't have to renew every year. And that's kind of huge. So you actually own more information. You don't have to, again, these big companies that are centralized, they hold all your information, they hold all your content. If you have a website, that's changing through blockchain technology. So that will be possible. And then, also Web3 financially, it decentralizes. The whole point, I think it started, was after the financial crisis of 2008 was when Bitcoin kind of sprang up, because it was a reaction to the centralized banks going, tits up, and and they wanted to, so decentralized banking will give people more control over their financial lives, and it could make it easier for people who are underbanked or unbanked to access funds. And I think it probably doesn't affect us too much in the people. I mean, it might, but you think about people that live in less developed countries that don't have access or credentials to get bank accounts. Like, this is a way to get money and give money and transact easier without all the fees. So we've got some great questions coming up here, but I'm going to just continue on here for just a second. Also, just as far as creators, entrepreneurs, influencers, people with Web3, people will buy and sell goods and services directly with other people. So you won't need, it's not like going to Costco and buying something. It's like going to a farmer's market and transacting directly with the vendor, right? So you don't have to go through Amazon or eBay. You can have more control over the pricing and terms of your transactions. And it allows you to kind of create your own business and not be beholden to these big corps and their rules and their fees. And also, let's say you have an Etsy shop and you think you own it, but Etsy actually owns it, because they could shut you down, or they could shut down and you lose your source of income. And that could happen with an influencer. Maybe they post a picture on Instagram and it violates their terms. They get shut down. They lose all of their followers. They get blocked out of their account. So it's just, Web3 is trying to remedy that. They're doing what they can to remedy that. So,
Sarah, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
And maybe, okay, I'm just going to throw it out there and then you
Yeah.
do what you want with it. So is there a way to, let's say Gen X Nation, for example, is there a way, if you have, like, what did you say, ETH, like genx.eth or something like that? Is there a way to marry or merge somehow together, like the .com version versus that version of it? Or how does that work? Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. And, the one thing that I want to be clear about is that Web3 isn't here to replace Web2. It enhances it and it works with it, and it just makes it easier and better. So I don't exactly know the specific answer to that, but I would say yes, because, you exist on Web2. It's not like you have to redo everything in Web3. I think it would just be a transfer of information onto the blockchain from your web server that you currently have. Or correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. I'm not a technical person.
I'll just hop in there. You can with .eth, you can actually import your DNS, your Web2 website into .eth, which then allows things like to work the wallet over your Web2 website. So with .eth, you have those kind of opportunities, which makes it quite interesting.
Yeah, thank you. That was such a good example. Yeah.
I think I just wanted to add something else. And I think part of, the questions that I'm reading here is that, the common denominator is the blockchain, the fact that it's immutable, you can't change it, you can't hack into it. So all the information that we're talking about, am I hosting it? Who's hosting it? If I'm not paying, nobody, it's on the blockchain or on IPFS, which is interacting with the blockchain, essentially. Any technology that interacts with the blockchain. So it takes the Facebook servers out of it, the Amazon web servers out of it. That's all centralized storage. So
what helps a lot of people that I talk to understand, one of the absolute key differences between Web2 and Web3 is that, Web3 is run based on the blockchain, and blockchain technology does not happen without decentralization. Multiple individuals need to validate transactions that come through, and you're not allowed to be a validator if you don't hold your own ETH in your own, or own your own, crypto in your own crypto wallet. And you have to put that up. You have to say, basically, I pledge that I'm going to truthfully record what goes in this block. And if I mess up, then you get docked, right? You get penalized in whatever was staked. And that's actually literally how the blockchain works. Whereas when we look at Web2, those data structures, those functions are run centralized in-house. And I think that ethos is what really creates the divide. Because of the completely decentralized architecture of it, you have to work as a group to verify transactions and verify the data as it comes in, instead of anybody on the inside getting to put whatever they want on there or remove whatever they want. I think that's the key differentiator. And it's a little bit deep, but hopefully that's relatable to most people.
Thank you for that. That's so helpful. And, I'm looking at some of these comments and we'll definitely get to some of them. But, somebody just said I think of it as I'm in charge of my data and money, and I get to say where and when and how much instead of a bank or services making all the rules. So that's a pretty broad way to do it. And I definitely agree with that. So thank you, Facebook user in the comments. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. But so where do NFTs fit in with Web3? Because they go hand in hand. Again, Web3 is not NFTs. NFTs are a lot of things. The simplest way to think about them at the moment for me, and they can be so, and I want everybody's opinion here, is that to me, they feel like a new way to collect and appreciate art, or that's what they started as. And they're digital collectibles. They live online. They represent who you are in Web3, so much more, obviously. And they come in many forms: art, music, experiences, community. And, people buy NFTs to collect art, to buy and profit. I think of it like a fixer-upper to buy, I don't want to say flip, but, that's a lot of, they treat them a lot of the times like a financial, like a security or an asset, not a security, or an asset. And then, or people are using NFTs to be a part of a community and share experiences, and like POAPs, or it's a huge community, and it's just one part of Web3. It's where I live. It's where I do most of my stuff. It's where I met most of the people here, and in different communities. And it stands for non-fungible token. I don't really want to go into that definition because it's such a stupid word. And money is fungible. NFTs are non-fungible. We could talk about it later if you want to. But I'm kind of curious. I'll open it up to the group here. Like, where do you think NFTs fit in with Web3 based on your experience? For me, I'm more on the founder of an NFT brand vibe, where I'm using an NFT collection to educate and onboard. But I know it can be different for everybody. So I'd be curious to know what you guys feel about that.
We can take that, right, Natanya, about our tickets. Essentially, that's how we're using it.
Yeah.
That, for our conference, the tickets are NFTs.
Yeah, that's so cool. So people essentially, instead of buying, think of the Taylor Swift fiasco, you go to Ticketmaster and you buy a ticket, but NFTs can totally transform and change all that. I'm sure Ticketmaster is like crapping their pants right now over that NFT revolution, because essentially, I'll use musicians as an example. You're a musician. You don't want to give 90 cents on every dollar to a record company, and then they control your music, control your rights and your life. You can be, and now it's changed with Web 2. You can put your stuff out on Spotify. You can make music in your bedroom and put it out, but you still have to deal with some level of centralized, big bosses in that way. But with NFTs, you can put your music out as an NFT. Physical, like on the blockchain as an NFT, right. and drop it right to your fans. So it's just between you and them. There's no other middle person. So you get the funds, you get the fees, the creator fees, and then they get the music. And it just creates a more holistic, organic, authentic experience. And you're not paying people that don't really need to be there. And I think that's a really revolutionary. And then, for the ticketing, I think that's really cool because, you have an NFT. Let's say Audacity is a yearly event, and it's something, think about it like VCon, which is a conference Gary Vee puts on. You buy an NFT, a Gary Vee NFT, and that NFT is your ticket entrance every year to this conference. And it's something that you own. You can give to other people to use. You can sell it. You can, it's so interesting, the power of what NFTs actually do within them.
What's interesting about what we're doing is, for our tickets, actually the conference material is part of the NFT. So not only that, it's exclusive content that's part of the NFT. So you don't need to go, where's that thing? Where's that code? Where's that website that I need to log into if I want to watch that talk? Heather Parody is our keynote speaker.
Cool. Yay. Right? Heather Parody.
So if I want to see Heather's talk, do I have to jump through all these hoops in order to find that information? No, I don't. I just connect my wallet, I click the NFT, and I can watch her talk. Or I can look at that piece of artwork, or I can do whatever.
Mm-hmm. So you have your memorabilia sort of on it. It's all in one place.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's how
Natanya, do you want to?
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Did you want to? Sorry. Sorry.
No.
Shut up.
No, Natanya, go.
I just wanted to ask you, Natanya, if you wanted to talk a little bit about, because it was interesting that you mentioned Ticketmaster, because the organization and people that we're working with, the project is, they are positioning themselves as the Ticketmaster of Web3.
Yeah, metaticket.eth, exactly. Powered by Ticket .eth.
Ticketmint,
Yeah, so
Ticketmint.eth. Yeah.
yeah, ticketmint.eth, exactly. So they're doing exactly that in the decentralized version. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So we've collaborated with them, and they're handling all the smart contracts and creating the NFTs. So that's cool. Yeah, that's super exciting. So that's metaticket.eth and
Thank you.
Yeah,
And it's their first project and our first project.
Exactly.
So we're both like collaborating on like a shit your pants. Oh my God.
I love it.
Let's just
go around and find out. No.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's Web3. That's everything. You're, as they say, you're building the plane as you fly it, and that's what's so exciting. Oh, sorry, Emily. Yeah.
Is it like too nerdy to raise my hand?
Never.
I love it.
I just wanted to cut in here for a bit. We've talked a ton about what the use cases are for NFTs, and the use cases are basically limitless. But I think just to extrapolate it a little bit for people that are learning, what an NFT is at its core is content and data management, which is something that we're really comfortable with, right? Like that's something that happens in my email inbox. That's something that happens on my Instagram. That's something that happens in my Twitter folder. All of these things are assigned to me. But the biggest difference in an NFT and its form of content and data management versus what we're used to in Web 2 is ownership. So not only do I have a picture plus the artist behind it, plus the date they made it, plus some description or whatever else they'd like to put in there. I also have a really cool piece of information, which is who owns it. And then beyond that, I can see who owned it before them, and I get the entire history of it. So it creates a really ephemeral piece of ownership where you can prove the history of something. And if you think into the collector industry, even a lot of people do collect things like, oh, this was the invitation for the Queen's wedding that was sent to Andy Warhol, right? Like that's kind of like a weird niche history that may fit someone's perfect interpretation of it, but like that's the benefit of having this content and data management on the blockchain.
Yep. 100%. And it's authentic, it's real, you can't fake it. And that kind of blows the whole, well, NFTs are just right click, save, copy, paste a JPEG. But if I had the Mona Lisa suddenly hanging in my living room, and I said it was the real thing, people would know it's not the real thing. It's like, oh, Angela.
Yeah, I want to jump in here too, because I agree on the sentiment too, like the term non-fungible token, I hope and believe we'll probably get away from that with mass adoption. Like you said, look at Starbucks right now, and they're launching a digital collectible, which is an NFT, but they're not using the term NFT. My background is a lot of nonprofits, and so I hate describing yourself by what you're not, and so I think it causes a lot of confusion. But to your point, Sarah, too, and what everyone is saying is that you're right. It's that you own the JPEG is kind of a joke, right? Like you own an NFT, and this kind of can give you access. It's almost like a little mini computer that you can program to do anything. And if I turn my camera off, I'll show you. So this is a token that I own. It's a crypto Mori. They have a partnership with Impact Suite. So because I hold that NFT, I get access to free teletherapy, unlimited, me and my direct family. And so that's a really specific, perfect example of that. Okay, you could go save that image. Sure, you could take a screenshot, but you're not going to be able to go to the website and then verify you own that asset to get access to the free teletherapy that I do, because I actually own that on the blockchain.
Blankenship, what do you think about that? Like, that's kind of nuts, right?
It's pretty cool. I mean, Angela, I appreciate you showing that, because that puts a lot of things into perspective for me, because my husband is an IT nerd. And so last night I was giving him the very kindergarten version of what Sarah had told me, about all of this. And his brain is like smokes coming out of his ears. But how can't you hack it? How can't you duplicate it? Why can't I just go and just copy it and just use it and say it's mine? And so these are the questions that, I mean, people like myself and like him, and I'm sure a lot of other Gen Xers have, like, but how do you actually own it? And so that example of what you just showed is by far the best example that I think will answer that question to so many people. Like, but really, what's in it for me? Because that's my brain's always like, what's in it for me? I mean, so is everyone, right? And so when you that example is a very powerful example of what an NFT is, what the power is behind it. And yeah, you can have a picture of it, but you can't do anything with it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like if you copy $100 bill, you have a copy of $100 bill, but hopefully nobody's gonna use it, right? So I think that's a phenomenal example. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and in NFTs, if you start poking around yourself, that's called utility.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was just going to say. So, NFTs, when they first started, didn't have a lot of utilities. They were mostly just a kind of put weird art online, and then it just became a phenomenon. But then utilities started to grow from there. So you can, and music NFT will actually have music on it. People are doing so many things with, a ticket NFT is access to a concert or a conference. That's utility. It can be access to a community. It can be access to the metaverse. It could, there are so many things. It's really limitless. Sky's the limit. And, I can't even think about all of the amazing things there if anybody wants to pipe in, but yeah, that's called utility. So when you're looking at NFTs, you go to OpenSea.com or .io, which is, I call it the eBay of NFTs, is where you can go and buy and sell NFTs. You will just see the little pieces of art, and you won't necessarily know what the utility is behind them. So that's why you need to do your research and get in there and find out what's real, what's not real, where do the utilities align with your beliefs. There are a lot of charitable NFTs that give back into experiences and take the money that they make from the art to support really great causes. So I kind of think, in a way, kind of a Web 2 way, I've thought about this before. And, NFTs are kind of like they're like a GoFundMe meets a Kickstarter in a weird way. Like, if this makes sense, it's like a Kickstarter campaign is somebody's creating something really cool and they want to offer it to their community. And, GoFundMe is you're giving to a cause you like. That I feel like that's an intersection of what NFTs can do if you want to get something for your NFT, but also help a cause. And that's what a lot of NFTs do. I might have just confused everybody. That's just my weird little.
Well, something I wanted to kind of bring it all together for the people that are listening, is you have your crypto wallet, right? And then you have the contents of your crypto wallet, and that may be crypto coins or things like NFTs. And then there's a bunch of applications that you can connect. They're Web3 enabled applications that you can connect your wallet to. And so what you have as a result here is what's called dynamic access control in user management. Like, I kind of like nerd out on this stuff because I spent 10 years building these things. But basically, Sarah gets a special experience because she has items 1, 2, 3, and Angela gets a different experience because she has 6, 7, 8. And they could be coming from completely different places, but you're able to make your own user profile that can be adapted to get accessed on any website, as long as they say, here's how you sign in with your Web3 wallet. And then they can make a special experience for you based on the contents of your wallet. And so where I've seen the most of this is things like news sites. They'll say, connect your wallet, and we'll look at the wallet contents and we'll give you news relevant to your wallet.
That's interesting. That is so interesting. Do you think that could create an echo chamber effect of where people will just get news based on their interests, kind of like what happens in Facebook, and then people won't be getting all of like a well-rounded resource?
All of these sites that I've experienced have, both the holistic version and then the filtered version, right? So if I want to cut through or I want to look for these specific things, I can do that. But because this is decentralized user management, I also have the ability to make myself micro profiles. I can make a wallet that specifically holds NFTs of nature one, and then I could have a different wallet that forms a different profile for myself. So instead of services like Google and Facebook collecting all of my data, kind of spying on me around the internet and serving up the experience that they think they'll get the most sticky reaction, they'll get the most clicks, they'll get the most time spent, they'll get the most scrolls, the most opportunity to show me ads, I can make a separate profile where I say, this is the nature of how I want to interact today. I want this version of the experience. So you get the ultimate
Thank
control.
you for that. That exactly. I thank you for that. That is such a great explanation. I cannot wait to nerd out with you further. I want to thank you so much. So I'm going to move on. We're kind of just talking about this, reasons Gen X is hesitant about Web3. People think it's a passing fad, too complicated, it's a scam, they're stupid, crypto is bad for the environment, it's not safe. I feel like we covered a lot of these things. Does anybody want to speak to any of these things that, or talk about what other hesitant things that people have come to them whenever you're talking to somebody about Web3 that isn't in the space? Because these are generally the comments I get from my IRL friends. So I'm just curious what your experiences have been.
I think
YouTube
with my
uses
peers
more power than the Ethereum blockchain.
Sorry?
I said YouTube uses more power than the Ethereum blockchain.
Thank you. Yeah, and well, exactly. And sorry, Stephanie, yeah?
I was going to say, I think that, specifically when it comes to Gen X, the question isn't necessarily, why are they hesitant? It's, why should they like it? And I think those are the connections that we have not done a good job of making. Understanding that, like, when you're talking about Gen X, there are, certain things that generation has in common that NFTs absolutely align perfectly with. We liked clubs, anybody that was in any kind of neighborhood, you had some kind of club, you had some kind of name, whether you had a clubhouse or not, there was some sort of thing. I mean, that was pretty prevalent in the 70s and 80s. And we, just generally just resisting authority, which decentralized nature, of course, that's going to speak to us, but they don't make that connection, or if that's not, put out there. And that I think even, furthermore, that it's that we were largely unsupervised. So it is like the perfect connection, but like those connection points haven't been made by anybody. Like those are the things. It's like, that's why it's cool. That's why it's fun. Nobody's going to check. Nobody's going to know. Like, we can do what we want. Facebook's not going to know. You can say what you want, but like, at least that's why I like it, and I don't understand why a lot of other Gen X people don't make those connections.
That is such a great soundbite, and that is so true. We could go up in the woods and just like light fires and break into abandoned buildings and climb water towers, and like, as long as we were home by the time the streetlights came on, nobody questioned us. So
nobody knew.
That is so interesting. I love that perspective. I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, all of that. I think that's really, really, really well said. I love it. So I just want to I feel like a big is how they stay safe in Web3. And I feel like Emily's really spoken a lot to this, but for me, for a newbie coming into it, Sarah, who wants to maybe do a little more research and, dip her toes in a little bit. Again, I feel like the most important thing is to find your people and your community. That's really important, because when I started, I was all alone. I didn't know where to look, where to go. I know my community manager, Sarah, No H, has a story. Maybe we'll bring her up here in a minute, talking about her first experience buying an NFT. And she just we were kind of adrift, in the sea. Here, Sarah, actually, do you want to pop up and tell about what happened when you bought your first NFT? Let me pop. Hey, it's Sarah.
Oh, I'm here. Hi, everybody. I've been responding to all the fabulous comments on Facebook. I love that someone just said, I'm a millennial and I have no idea what's happening. That makes me so happy. It makes me feel less old. So DM me, we'll chat. We're all new, first of all, except maybe Emily, who said she was doing this for 10 years. And at the beginning of 2022, I discovered NFTs because AMC Movie Theater gave me one for free. And I had been resistant to the whole thing for quite a while. And something just clicked when I got it. And I was like, I want to collect more. I want more free things, right? Kind of like that baseball card, garbage pail kid side of me coming in. I don't know. And I kind of just have been drinking from the fire hydrant ever since. As much information as I can. I'm voracious about it. I cannot get enough. And I would recommend that you usually wait at least 3 to 6 months of intense work before you buy your first NFT. I did not do that. And I was so anxious and thought that I had followed everyone's advice. I'd listened to the NFT for Newbies podcast, and I thought that that would be enough to get me where I needed to go, and it did not. And what I did was I found a project that I thought was good. I liked the art. I checked the numbers of their followers. I checked their engagement. I thought I was checking off all my boxes. So day of mint comes, and I can't figure out how to mint this darn thing. I can't figure it out. And what even is minting? And I'm Googling, what is minting? And I thought I had it. And so I go to OpenSea and I buy one at 0.3. For people that know, mint price was like 0.05 or 0.07 at the time. Anyway, so I mint it. I buy it on OpenSea, which is like a place that you can go to buy used or secondhand NFTs, right? So I buy it. I go into their Discord, which is a place where you can chat with community people. And I say, okay, I bought mine. Where do I mint it? And then it clicks when someone says, if you bought it, it's already minted. And then I realized that, you know, I just made someone a lot of money. And yeah, so it's funny because I could have bought it for several $100s less, and I could have been the original first owner, and I didn't. So, you know, it's like trying to go buy a brand new Prada shirt and thinking you're so excited, you know, and you, where do I get this one to, you know, get it signed by Prada so I can prove that I own it, you know, and I go and I buy it at like, you know, eBay, and I'm like, okay. And they're like, you're not the original owner. So
yeah, no, I love that. Thank you. And yeah, I didn't mean to, I thank you for that explanation. And that is exactly, I mean, I had those experiences too of when I was putting money in my wallet or trying to buy something and I didn't understand gas fees. It was like there's this whole language you have to understand. Like minting is different from buying. It's just pre-sales. And the Sarah, you know, as our wonderful new person in here learning as we go, you know, this is all a language you have to learn. And I think that's so important because, you know, as you get older, learning a new language, they say, staves off Alzheimer's. And instead of learning French, let's just learn Web3 because it is a totally different language. It really, really is. I love that. So, I mean, and that's what I've been doing for the past year. And so I can have a conversation and totally understand, you know, these quote unquote tech bros talking in all of these spaces that I listen to. But a year and a half ago, it was a totally foreign language to me. So again, you know, that's how do you stay safe? You learn the language of Web3 and, you know, you never give away your seed phrase. I bet a lot of people here don't even know what a seed phrase is because that's a piece of language that you need to know about Web3. And, you know, I guess the biggest thing is like, just take it slow and you don't need to FOMO into Web3. You know, there's no fear of missing out. If you're here, if you're watching this, you are so early. So early and earlier than everybody. And because I don't even know the percentage, but I think it's something like maybe 2% of the world even are in. It's a really small number. I don't have the stats, but it's ridiculous how early we are.
Current crypto adoption, and this is across all the blockchains, is about 4.5%, and NFTs is 5% of that.
Okay, so think about that. Oh yeah, go on. Yeah.
So, but with one T,
there a big
not
butt?
2 T's. Oh. The but. Remember back what I remember, and I think Sarah is clearly a Gen X name. We have so many Sarahs up here.
Oh God.
I'm the only one that spells it right though.
How dare you?
I remember when Facebook was new, folks, and nobody was barely on there. I remember when your Facebook was your wall, and almost overnight, boom. Right? Mm-hmm. So it's good that you're here. It's good that you find a community that you trust, that has your back, that can help you through this. You know, now is the time.
100%. And, you know, just an anecdote of my own life, you know, back in the 90s, I was a 20-year-old living in Seattle during the .com boom. I was watching all my friends invest in companies, working at startups, going to Microsoft, and they were just all this was whirling around me, this tech and and I was an English major and I didn't know anything. I had no power. I had no voice. I didn't know where to start, where to look, who to ask, what questions to ask. And I think back, what could I have, if I had a community back then, if I had people that were learning and growing with me, if there was access, what would that have done for me to be that early? It's like, imagine being like the second person to invest in Apple stock, it's so early. So there are so many opportunities, and you can make your own opportunities, which is very, very cool. So thank you. Those were all really great examples. Again, why does Gen X need to care? I'm going to zip through these real quick. We want to stay relevant as we get older, avoid taste freeze and get off my lawn mentality. I'm getting letters from ARP and it's so offensive, but they're trying to be cool and bring Gen X on board. But I'm not old yet. And, I think that we need to know how this, it all works so we can teach and relate to our kids and our grandkids who will grow up in Web3. And and we might need to pivot careers, and especially with the AI coming in, which is a whole other town hall we'll have to do. So many things are going to become automated. Things that are really important now could become obsolete. And Web3 offers immense job and potential wealth building opportunities, even for non-tech people, which is exactly, how many people were tech people before they got into Web3? I wasn't, and I think that is a really common thing, and that shouldn't be a barrier to entry for people that want to get in on this. So I'd love to have a Q&A, open it up. I know Sarah's been doing answering questions along the way. If you guys have any questions for each other, for me, anything we talked about, we can just talk about this for the next 5 minutes, and then we'll wrap it up. And we have the POAP, and then I also want to do a MetaMask walkthrough for those who want to stay on. It takes 5 minutes and it's free, and you give no information out. And I think Sarah Blankenship I think that this would be a really good way for you to just see the steps live. And anybody else watching that wants to do it too, we'll just do it live. And then at the end of it, you'll have your first NFT for free, and it'll be so painless. Anyone? Bueller?
So I'm seeing some messages pop up over there saying, what are resources I can go to understand what's going on? And there's a couple of places that have resources, but in my personal experience, I've found that they miss the message and miss the why, and talk a lot about the how, and that can get you into trouble pretty easily. So, I would recommend to anybody that's interested in what's going on and how to be a part of it, get on Twitter. Twitter is absolutely the center of all of this information, and join Twitter Spaces and start listening and start asking questions, and resist every urge that you have to put any money into it until you can fully explain it to somebody else, end to end, every component of it, including security. Like, resist the urge. It's going to get a lot easier in the next few years. But right now it's a very young technology with a lot of things coming out right now. But the biggest thing that happens on a regular basis is social engineering and phishing, and that'll be a very disappointing experience, like, without a doubt. But it's really cool, and it's really cool to get in and learn about it and figure out what's going on. So depending on how deep you manage to dive, it's very accessible. People are pretty welcoming. Just vet whatever information that you get in a one-to-one setting in public. This technology is built to be trustless. You're meant to not need to trust anybody. And this concept of trust is something that we're used to, right? Trust this is a secure site. Trust that this transaction is going to go through. If it doesn't, credit card company has your back. So these things are trustless in that they're final. There's nobody that can reverse what happened. And that is both good and bad, right? It's very different, and it's something important to understand. But anyone that's trying to get in, I definitely recommend hopping, deep into Twitter, and you're going to find out a whole lot. And you can be a part of an NFT community without owning that NFT entirely. You can participate, you can hang out, you can right-click save and use something as your profile pic, like whatever. For the most part, they're not going to care ultimately, because NFTs, beyond beyond all of their use cases, are an amazing marketing tool.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean, if you think about all the Web2 brands, you know, Nike, Starbucks. I mean, Jesse should pop in, and he has a lot.
Uh-ohs. Did we lose her?
Uh-oh. Sarah will be right back. So she's in Hawaii. So she might have gotten some of those beautiful tropical winds before anybody feels bad. Let's ask another question to the panel, though. There was somebody up here earlier that I thought had a really great basic question. And she said, if we don't hold our data, who holds our data? I thought that was a really great question. Who wants to answer that?
I mean, I do a lot with this stuff, but I know I've talked a lot.
Well, you're such a wealth of information, though, because I feel like security is so important. I mean, what Foolproof Labs, like, talk about that for a minute. What exactly are you doing? Because I think that's so fascinating, and I haven't seen that before.
Sure. Well, I can talk about who holds your data as well. So if you are one of those sticklers for terms of use, terms of services, when you get on a website, you would have come across the pieces of information on these social media sites that say any content that you create and share on here is owned by us. We can do whatever we want on it. That includes your personal photos, your trips from vacation, any sort of information that you've shared, any of that, that's owned by the person providing you the platform. They hold it all. There's a few laws in place. There's GDPR in the UK, and there's something similar in California. That means that they're required to be able to give you back all of your data and erase it. And at the same time, like, that's something that's solved inherently through the blockchain. Like, I can revoke permissions to my data. You know, it depends on what's a privacy chain or not, right? Like, much of the data is open to see. But, you know, this, like we talked about earlier, the architecture of the blockchain leads itself to personal ownership of this. You're not handing it over, just like Google technically owns your emails, right? That you don't own them. They're assigned to you. They give you permission to access them. But if, you know, the government came in and said, oh, this person's not allowed to communicate anymore, which, you know, happens in some countries, then you don't get them anymore. And whatever is attached to them is gone as well. So, you know, it's whatever service provider ultimately that you're using. And that's why a lot of people will, you know, keep their photos not on, you know, the iCloud or whatever, where you're taking your, you know, all your pictures on your iPhones and they just store there magically. They'll export them onto like a hard drive that they physically possess in their home, right? Because they don't want something to happen to that.
Sorry, I'm coming back. Yeah, thank you. That was super helpful. So helpful, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get, now it's being silly. I don't want to, there we go.
Also,
I just wanted to get that back up here. Yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
I was going to say, think about it like this. You know, I remember not long ago, well, maybe it was 5 years ago. Time is relevant these days. But there was this whole scam thing about how images were showing up on cute plates and tumblers at Target because they were Googling images on, they were just Googling images and right-clicking and saving. And there was no way to really prove who was the original artist other than, you know, just showing that, oh, I was drawing and things like that. But if you own the JPEG or the image and there is a digital address, what we're going to call your digital wallet, there is a way to prove ownership there as well. You know, you can't go and right click on a Pokemon image and go write a book, a fan book about this and use that image. They're going to come after you for licensing. When you own, for example, this image, this JPEG, then you have the right to it. And there's more details and a little bit more nuance than that. But that's kind of an idea that clicked for me when I was thinking about ownership, is that we're in some ways, and it's really challenging and really hard, especially the older we are, to switch in our brains from taking back ownership instead of giving ownership, taking our security and being responsible for our security instead of giving away our security and making someone take care of us.
Yeah. I think of it really as like, it's the best of both worlds, of the analog world where the things I own are physically in my possession, or I maybe have put them in another location that I have control over through a key, right? Like a storage facility, plus the ease of the internet. So where it was harder to own things before on the internet, now there's a very clear path forward of how, you know, I can actually own these things, plus have them in, online.
Yeah, accessible at any time without having to go through hurdles or wait for other people to give you access. So no, I love that. Real quick, for those of you with a wallet, this is the secret phrase for you to go and claim your POAP for this here event, Goonies 85. So if you have downloaded, I'm gonna try it right now actually, because it should be live. It'll be live for like 2 hours. So if you go to POAP, this is POAP, this is the app.
Awful anti-spam.
Oh, you're anti-POAP?
No. They put this thing in there to prove that you're not like farming it or a bot.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
It's very challenging.
So I go to mint, and then you can mint a POAP and type in your secret word. Okay. Oh gosh, please work. Please work. I set this up. We are minting your POAP. Provide you are human. So now there's a security measure. Provide you are human. Select this. Okay, now I have to do some math. All right, have fun.
This is new, right? Because I've done POAPs all the time. I've never seen this before.
This is totally new.
This is brand new. This is brand new.
Oh my gosh, it's like I'm playing a video game of numbers here.
So for people that have downloaded the app, it's going to say mint on the very bottom with like a little plus sign.
But you need a wallet. If you don't have a wallet, you have to, thank you, Kitty. If you need to enter your wallet. If you don't have a wallet, like Sarah doesn't have a wallet, I'm going to do the MetaMask tutorial after this, and then we'll get that hooked up. But I didn't want to keep people who already have a wallet. So, oh my gosh, you guys, this is like, I'm freaking out. I only have a minute left, and I have all these numbers to do, and they're making me figure it out.
It's very,
I got mine.
Very challenging.
There's so many.
It goes to 1,000.
What if you get them wrong? Oh shoot, I totally.
Oh my god, I got it. Yeah, it goes to 1,000. There's a story behind that.
Right now, I have the one of one. It says only one person was there. Did anyone else claim it?
Mine's minting now. But the biggest POAP issuer currently stopped issuing POAPs because of that enhancement. So
this is bananas. This is
ridiculous.
Actually,
it doesn't stop.
So yeah, it goes to 1,000.
One
of the people that I've partnered with our security application is actually they're in the process of launching their competitor to POAP called Badges. And we're combining that with one of our free security features. So you'll have the ability to collect these badges specific to an NFT that you own while also being more secure.
That is really good because I have failed. I can't do it. I took too long.
You're so difficult. It's so difficult.
I was too slow too. It says game over for me.
It's the worst game I've ever played. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's funny too because they were when I signed up for it, they were like, we only want the POAP window open for 15 minutes. And I put it open for 2 hours. Thank God I did, because are you fucking kidding me? Okay, so that was interesting.
The little village, you are not old. Go ahead and DM us. I will help you. I will help you. I will help you.
I'm old. I'm 34. I'm an elder millennial officially.
Love it. I love it. You know, I feel bad for that term elder millennial and geriatric millennial. You guys are way cooler than that term offers. And I personally am offended by that on your behalf. Mm-hmm. I think Gen X is definitely the coolest name of a generation. Boomers, they're probably the least. Maybe the silent generation is also like the worst name ever. Because it just
how about the greatest generation? Like, all right, well, it's all downhill from here. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Thanks. Yes, absolutely.
So I just want to say I really appreciate this conversation. It was really great to hear everyone's different perspective. As somebody who's been in the Web3 NFT space for about 1.5 years, I just want to chime in, because I know there's a lot of information and there's a lot of words in terms of art and processes and things that we might have touched on as a group here and talked about. And 1.5 years ago, I didn't know what any of this meant. None of this verbiage, none of these words, none of this lingo, none of the process. What's a POAP? How does it work? Why is this happening? And you see all of us sort of scrambling to do our POAP. I promise you that it does get much easier and much more easy to understand. there's just a lot of it, and it's completely foreign in so many ways. It's essentially like, I think Sarah might have said, is learning a new language. It really is. And it's understandable why a lot of people are on the sidelines saying, maybe I want to get into Web3, I want to get into NFTs. I just don't understand it. It seems daunting. I was out there for a couple of years before I even got into it, and I knew I wanted to get into it and learn more about it, but I kept banging my head against that wall saying this seems impossible and daunting and I couldn't get it. And eventually somebody explained it to me in a way that it clicked. And then now things that I do every day that are just, automatic are things that I couldn't even imagine doing a year ago. So I will say, if any of this seemed confusing, hard, overwhelming, you're not alone. It's absolutely like a whole new animal that you have to learn and you have to understand. And there's so many different facets of it and pieces. But once you get the basics and can build upon that, then the lingo starts to make sense. Then you start to see, okay, I did that. Then you make a mistake and you learn from that. And it's really exciting and fun. And there's so many aspects of it, especially on the NFT side, like we talked about, the ownership side, the sort of glorified fan club side, the experiential side, the community side. That's really worth it. So I hope everybody here that was listening, that wasn't on the panel, got something out of it and is starting to understand it if they were new to the space, and it will click. I really promise.
Thank you for that. Yeah. And also, we're all builders in this. We're all here to do what we're doing specifically, which is so varied and different, which is so interesting, but also help other people get into it too. Please check out everybody's links that are all in the chat, scroll up and click on them. You can go to my YouTube page, the Gen X YouTube page. I post some videos. I'm also on TikTok, all the socials, but like, what is an NFT? What is Web3? What is Discord? Just all of these ridiculous words that we have to learn to be in this. And I try and put them in a Gen X way with analogies that make sense for people, because I wish I had this when I was in this, when I started, and I want to be that source, shout out to Heather Parody. She's not here, but she's going to be at the Audacity conference. Definitely sign up for that. She's amazing. She was my entree point into this, and she didn't know what she was doing either. So it was kind of felt like I was learning together, and that was really cool. And I feel like we're all so ahead of the game. And so if you're right here now, you're ahead of the game. So don't look at us and be like, oh, they know so much. We're still learning every day. We know some things, but this is the cool part about Web3. It's just like it's never ending, which is very, very cool. Yeah, there's some notes. So please, I want to thank everybody for coming. This is so fun. I hope you had fun. I want to respect everybody's time. I know we went a little over. I'm going to stay on and do a live share screen tutorial on how to build or how to create a MetaMask wallet. So Sarah Blankenship, I'd love it if you wanted to stay on and just maybe do it with me or watch me do it, and then you can do it later, and then that'll be a good resource for you to ask questions, because I've done it so many times. For people that are watching or will watch this in the future, I think it'll be beneficial for me to get live questions of what's going on as we do it. But I want to thank everybody for coming. You guys are all so amazing. Thank you for sharing this space with me. I feel really, 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 really blessed to know you, and thank you for sharing your knowledge. And I would love to do it again. I think this is so cool, because we talk about Twitter Spaces. That's an amazing place to go and get so much information. But it can also feel a little overwhelming when you hop in a space and people are talking in a language you don't really understand. So I feel like LinkedIn, especially because tons of professionals are on here and they're curious and smart and successful, but they maybe don't know about NFTs and Web3 so much. So I think I might make this a thing and maybe do it once a week and just, be a resource for kind of like the bridge between knowing nothing and hopping into a Twitter space. That's what these town halls can be. But yeah, so thank you everybody for coming. I really appreciate that. I really hope that you can get your POAP. That was ridiculous. And let's do it again. So I don't know exactly, this is the first time for StreamYard. I can remove you if you want to leave, or I think you might be able to just remove yourself from the room, and then I'm just going to share a screen. But does anybody have anything to say before we say goodbye?
I just want to say,
go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm going to jump off. I see the button down here, so I'll do that.
Okay,
thanks so much. I think it's an awesome space. I think it's a really, like you said nicely, it's a nice way to bridge gaps and really sort of cater for newbies and answer some basic questions. I think it's awesome. Thanks so much. And I want to, you did mention Heather Parody. That for me, that was a great podcast to start with. NFTs for newbies. It's just a fantastic way to sort of really take it step by step. And everybody else sharing here, thanks so much. I picked up one or two things. I've learned a lot. Thanks, Emily, for your wisdom as well.
Of course.
And yeah, so thanks for having me, and great space.
Thanks,
you, Sarah.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.
Good,
Really nice
good.
talking with all of you.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time. You guys are all amazing. So thank you so much. So now I am going to do a screen share.
I'm gonna hop off.
Yes.
Thank you
Bye.
for having me. Yeah, I'm happy to come back anytime. Lots of fun.
Thank you. I appreciate
do my best
it.
to keep things like digestible, but
it's so important. No, I appreciate that. Thanks, Emily. Here, I'll Oh no, I just removed you. I'm so sorry, Emily. I'm new at this. I'm so sorry. Let's see. And okay, great. Okay, we're taking off here. Stephanie, are you saying goodbye? Okay. Cool. All right. This is so exciting, guys. So it'll be like 5 minutes. So for everybody watching, 5 minutes. And so I'm going to share my screen. Oh, do you have any questions, Sarah? How was that?
It was good. It was good. I'm excited to see this, although the number part scares me, I guess, after what you just went through.
Oh, the POAP. Well, it's funny because, yeah, that is just one thing, right?
Yeah, all they did was edit a game. They basically added a game because what was happening, and I can speak to this from other spaces I was on, is they have a limited number of these POAPs for each event that you go to. And so they give out the secret word at some point. It might be during an hour or 2 hours. And then everybody, especially if it's somebody that's very well known in the NFT space, jumps in because they think it's going to be really valuable, and everyone swoops in and tries to figure out a way. And I'm sure smarter people than me have programmed bots to automatically go in there and all up. And so this is their attempt to now have a numbers game in there that no bot could possibly play, so that only the people that are supposed to get these POAPs that were actually at the event and that should appreciate them are actually the ones that get them. So that has nothing to do with anything that we're doing. It's just a new security feature they've layered in because there were bots in the space. And like anything else, it's like bots that get Taylor Swift tickets, or bots that get the POAPs, or bots that try to get the best NFTs. There's always going to be people out there with their, coding knowledge that are trying to program ways around what's supposed to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but Jesse just said something that, for anyone that's still watching, let's say that Taylor Swift wanted to drop her first 1,000 tickets to loyal fans that she knows. She could collect their digital wallets ahead of time and drop the tickets, an NFT ticket, to their wallet for them to have. And then we wouldn't have to have had that whole Ticketmaster debacle.
Sure. And there's also like layers. There's also layers I always think about. Like the 80s kid in me is like, okay, what if I went to see Prince in the 80s and my ticket was on my phone? It was verifiable. Nobody else could have that ticket. There's no way in the world that it could be duplicated or imitated. It's verifiable. And then with that ticket, I would get a free t-shirt. So I got the concert t-shirt now. And okay, I've got that t-shirt. Now I also get to join, if it existed back then, a community of Prince fans. And we're all talking and communing and talking about what the next album is going to be and what songs we like and what he played and what the concert was like. Great. And now he's got a new album coming out and you get half off that CD if you have this, this NFT. And now you're part of this ultra sort of, I call it like an ultra fan club, because it's really what it feels like. Because whether it's a brand, I have NFTs for a champagne brand. I have NFTs for a cooking brand that's founded by top chefs. There's everything in between. So NFTs are going to evolve every day, but the potential to have this that you own, that you appreciate, that's only yours, and gets you not only the appreciation of the art and the aesthetic of what it represents that you can look at, but it also gets you this wide open door to all these amazing experiences and things that you would never otherwise get to do. And, to answer the question, people always say, oh, well, couldn't you just do that in Web 2? Or couldn't you just do that with mailing me something? No, because that's something that could be duplicated. It's something that
also, forgive me, you buy an NFT that's a ticket, you buy a ticket to a conference, and then you go or a movie, they tear it in half, and then that's all you get from it. You buy an NFT to a conference. That NFT you own it, so you can go to the conference, and then that utility you get, you still have the NFT. It's not like it got torn up. It's still, so if they want to do another conference or have another event, you have that NFT. So it just creates multiple experiences. So you can make a Gen X Nation NFT and drop everybody a Gen X Nation NFT, and that would be their pass into your universe, be it online, in reality, for educational experiences, for all of that. And then that would be their membership, essentially, which is very cool.
So again, talk to me like I'm a kindergartner. But if I wanted a Gen X Nation NFT, though, essentially like what you're doing, though, then do you have to hire an artist? And how? That's probably another conversation, because my brain's already like, how. So if I want one, how do I get one?
Sure, I can get you that. So again, I think it's important we recognize the NFT is the technology behind what empowers the verifiable nature of this ownership. And so your NFT, if you want to create one for Gen X Nation, could just be a blank screen. It could be anything.
Okay.
It's just on the chain. That's a way to verify the entire record. Like Sarah once said, and I think this is kind of an interesting idea.
Okay.
Think of the cards in the back of a library book, right? And you can just trace like each person that had it, when they had it from. That's what's happening on the technology side of the blockchain. It's verifying all of the entire record of ownership of when it was transferred from which wallet to which wallet. You can see that anytime it's public. If you know Mark Cuban's wallet, you can go look at what NFTs are sitting in that wallet. It's decentralized.
All
it's
public.
Really
So when I'm thinking about the concert side of things, I mean, with the disaster of the Taylor Swift thing, so is there any way to regulate, let's say she drops those 1,000 tickets and they're going to be $100 and that's how much it's going to cost. Is there any way for her to regulate that you can't ever charge more than $100? Basically, you can't scout, the tickets within Web3. I mean, how does that work?
Well, that would be a bit. Oh, sorry, go ahead. So
that's interesting, because if you own an NFT, it is yours and you can technically do anything you want with it. So if Taylor Swift dropped an NFT ticket to her concert tomorrow in Orlando, you could sell it to somebody on a secondary market, and then they could go to that concert. And I guess that technically would be scalping, so to speak. But I have a feeling that if you got in a Taylor Swift NFT, you would not want to sell it, because that NFT would be so much more than just that concert, because she, of course, would provide other experiences for people that just hold this very special membership. So if it was just a regular ticket on the street, it's just useful for that one experience. So there's not as much emotion attached to it. There's not as much utility attached to it. So that would be, so I feel like that could probably solve the scalping problem. But I do know that, for VCon, which is Gary Vee's conference, everybody who owned one of his NFTs got to go to the conference for free. This is a huge event. But people who couldn't make it to the event, they could loan out their NFT. There was actually a thing, and they would loan you their NFT for the time to go and you have access to it, and then you could give it back. And so there's a way, as the owner of that NFT, you can make money. So not only do you own this NFT that I think cost $50 and now they're worth like $40,000 or something like that, you can rent it out. I can't go to this conference, so it's like almost an Airbnb. Like I'm going to rent out my ticket. You can go use it. Give me a couple $100, and then I get it back, so I can rent it out again or do anything else I want with it. So when it means ownership, you can really, like, you could, if it's an art, look at the art. If you own one of our NFTs, like, make some t-shirts, make some cartoons, become an influencer, start a Twitter page, start a podcast. People start bands with their NFTs. People start restaurants. People
it's really interesting.
It's so interesting that you can do.
You used a good example, and I want to say this because I think it's important. So Gary Vaynerchuk, who's a very well-known business person and also an influencer, he started this creation of NFTs in this brand called VFriends, and it was based around characters that he has created. And there's all different characters, and they have sort of inspiring names that are meant to represent facets of our personality that are positive, right? So when you buy the NFT from VFriends, if you were to get in at the beginning, it gets randomly generated. You get assigned one. Now, one thing that was sure was that everybody who got one got tickets to his conference, as Sarah said. the way that is programmed into it is something called a smart contract, and this gets into the tech side, so we're probably trying to avoid it. No, I just want to give a sentence or two about it. When you ask like how you can check certain things that the NFT allows you to do or not do, can be sort of programmed into the NFT itself.
Okay, that I think answers my question that I just asked earlier. Is that there is a way to regulate it in some shape or form, what you can do with the NFT.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We can back this up. I think we should get to the MetaMask because I think it's really useful for whoever's hanging on, but we can get back to this right after. I think it's valuable to continue because these are great questions, and that's how we don't see it as well as you do because we're in it. So it's really helpful to get this question. I appreciate it.
That's so great. And I just
Sarah, really quick.
Oh yeah,
Sarah,
sorry.
you have a Twitter?
I do not. I know. Okay, don't look at me like that.
No, that's okay. I'm just responding to a question.
You're
some MetaMask.
Yeah, okay. So now let's do some MetaMask, guys. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
Can I just a one sentence recap? So to have a custodial place to put your cryptocurrency or your NFTs, you need to have sort of your own address on this chain that goes on forever of tracking what happens. And so until you have that address, which is typically called a wallet address, you can't store your NFTs or your cryptocurrency you buy because you have nowhere to put it. And so MetaMask is typically, I would say, probably the most used wallet, and it's also pretty easy, and it's pretty easily integrated into different browsers and different, apps on your phone and things. So that's why we chose that one. And I think it's a good one to start with. And then if you want to go down the rabbit hole later and decide there's other ones for you, great. But I think Sarah's going to teach everybody how to do it. I think it's really a good thing to learn.
I'm going to try, but now it's being stupid. Hold on a second. I was trying to do it through Opera. I might have to share my entire screen. Everybody close your eyes. Okay. I want to make sure I don't have it says I can't access the screen. Oh, this is such a bummer. Oh no, I don't want it to be goofy here. Maybe this will be a different, let's see what is going on. Your StreamYard Finder. No, I'm trying to share. Yes, I want to. Okay, allow. I'm so sorry. It says a browser can't access it. This is a bummer. Okay, let me think here.
Are you using Chrome?
I'm just
StreamYard.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Make sure that your browser isn't set to private right now.
Yeah, it's not.
Because you're using StreamYard.
It says I could share the whole. That's so strange. Okay, I'm sorry. I wish I could pause. This is where I'd edit out my video. Let me think here, guys. Oh boy, I'm so sorry for everybody watching live. I'll have to edit this part out. Well, if I can't get what would be easiest? Two monitors. Screen sharing works best on use Chrome if you'd like to share audio. Okay, thank you. But it's still not letting me do it. I'm so sorry. This is embarrassing.
Don't worry about it. Go ahead. You keep doing that. I'm gonna speak to Sarah, Gen X Nation, Sarah. Since I have to be clear, there's 3 Sarahs. What I was gonna say before about the Gary Vaynerchuk V Friends is think about if you were a collector of something, if it was Garbage Pail Kids or it was baseball cards, those are easy examples. You might have gotten the best, quote unquote, best, most valuable player in that pack when you open the pack, right? And you might get that. And there might be, 5,000 of those spread throughout the world in different packs, right? With NFTs, everyone is truly unique for the most part in most collections. And so it would be like opening a pack of baseball cards back then and getting, I don't know who was the best player back then. I'll go even further back because people will know who it is, like Mickey Mantle, right? And you got the Mickey Mantle card, but there was one Mickey Mantle card. You had the single Mickey Mantle card in the entire world, right? So the way I think about NFTs is kind of like that version. It's a very fun, collectible world that also has the community side and the experience side, like we talked about, where Taylor Swift could give concert tickets or give backstage access to people that hold this particular NFT, or she could give you free CD for her next album. All those things are possible, but your unique ownership of your NFT is just yours until you sell it, and then it gets recorded on the blockchain, and then it goes to somebody else. And each collection programs what they want to have. If you got a certain one of the V friends, not only did you get all the benefits that everyone else got, but you got twice a year to have a private one-on-one call with Gary Vaynerchuk or whatever it is, right? So the sky's really the limit, as somebody said earlier, about where we can go with NFTs and what they can bring in our lives. And as a technology, brands are certainly going to use them more and more to create and reward, like Starbucks is starting to do, their customers, because it's yours. And you can't, if they send out a coupon, it might go to everybody, right? But if they send you a special coupon that's tied to your account and your wallet, it's only yours, and they know it's only yours, and you're the only one who has it. And I think one of the things we haven't talked about that's interesting is we're so early in NFTs, but this technology can empower so many different aspects of our life. It can become the verifiable real estate deed of your house. So there's no way to copy it. You don't have to go to the court or wherever the Hall of Records and get a copy of it. You can see with that NFT, this is a house that's owned in your wallet. You can see the entire history and record of that house, wherever it's been before. That's just one example of where it can go. There's people who have talked about maybe they'll, yeah, we can talk all day long, but I'm just trying to give you some context of how NFTs can play into different aspects of life. Right now, there's the art component, the community component, and the experience component. And I think all three of those get kind of lost in the mainstream discussion about, can I make money? And that's really obviously important. People buy things because they want them to appreciate in value if it's an asset. But I think what's missing from a lot of that conversation is what NFTs are and can be. And
you're exactly right. Because for me, what I think is missing in the conversation is what's in it for me. What can NFTs actually do? And until this conversation, I'm like, you're just buying a picture. That's it. I mean, like a trading card or something like that. And so I think that's the major piece of education, from what I've read and what I've seen and, and heard about NFTs. That's the big component that's missing, is that there's so much more to it. And I think it's kind of strange that those things aren't talked about more.
I agree. I think it's, yeah. And I've talked to a lot of people in the NFT space, and we agree that it's weird that doesn't get out there. The community side is such an important part of it, and meeting really interesting people who have some sort of similar interest or like-mindedness to come into that community. And there are communities that are just built around networking and opportunities, and everyone supports what they're building in their businesses and create, I can introduce you to this person. I mean, it's just like entire structures of business and personal success.
Well, you think about LinkedIn, LinkedIn's a great resource to find and communicate and connect with people, but NFTs and Web3 and Twitter Spaces, like, you even have more access, and people are more just passionate and excited, and people are like, hell yes, I want to help you. We're in this together. It's a mentality of everybody. We're in it to win it. We all have to make this work, because if we don't, then it will, crash and burn. We don't want it to happen, or, the rules will get made and we'll be left out of the conversation and we won't have access.
I was going to say, if we stop there, you might say, but you can just pay $20 a month and be in a fan club for somebody and just get access to an online community, right? So that's just the entry point that starts the journey of the rest of it, right? And what it fills in. I think I started to say before, just the different elements of benefit that I get from owning different NFTs are just really across the board. Tom Colicchio, who's a very famous chef, and a bunch of other top chefs started an NFT where the artwork is based around animated slices of pizza, right? Which I thought was fun because I like pizza. But what that gets you, besides the community, is now live exclusive events with them at different places around the world, where you come and these top chefs cook for you, and you get to experience that with other people that are in the community. They do private, just for holders of the NFT, cooking demos with different things that you can only access if you have this NFT. And nobody else can come in, nobody else can copy it, nobody else can record it. You have to set up and connect your wallet as a way to access it. It's the
entry point.
It's entry point, right?
Exactly.
There's a champagne brand that I own an NFT for, and one of the benefits there is that they're taking their pool of royalties from the champagne sales and allocating it across the board in parts to the people that own the NFTs. They're obviously
so just buying and selling it for a profit, is one way to what's in it for me. But what Jesse's talking about, there are so many ways that holding on to an NFT can yield so much more value, emotional, financial, social, you know, and it creates social currency too. Like if you wear, your goat shirt or your hat and people will see you on the street, or it's like, there's something to be proud of. That's what the really big blue chip NFTs, they're just like, it's like you're a member of this really cool club, I
want to go beyond experience too, because it's the tapestry of what it can be. Nike has a brand called Artifact. And one of the things that they did with their NFTs is if you had certain NFTs that had certain shoes, you then got sent a real pair of these shoes that were only made for holders of this NFT. Now, there's a huge subculture anyway of people that trade sneakers and things, right? So now imagine you own this NFT and now you got this exclusive pair of sneakers that you could only own if you have this particular NFT. And that's a great example of other things people can do to merge. It's called phygital. People talk about physical and digital, but there's lots of other ways that an NFT can get you. What's that?
That word phygital. That's such a funky word.
PH. But I mean, I'm just trying to like give you a broad strokes, but also speak to it in a way that's hopefully makes sense about, you could sell that NFT and not get the sneakers and you would have, missed out on that. Or, there's the making money piece of it, but then there's also lots of other elements around it. And that could be experience, community, physical goods, access, education.
And exactly. Real quick, and sorry, and then I want to wrap it up. So MetaMask has to wait. I can't figure out how to share the screen. I'm so sorry. I'll send you a video, Sarah, and I could do this again another time. But I know this is such information overload, and I feel like NFTs are kind of I hate to use this term, but like the lowest hanging fruit in a way to pick to understand what blockchain, what Web3 is, what all this stuff is, because the art is pretty, it has to do with communities, it's relatable. And I just think that even if you never own one or buy one, or even if you never get a wallet, just being curious and not being so hesitant and not being so opposed to it, even if you think they're a scam, even if you think they're skeptical, even if you think they're bullshit, you should still understand what they are. So you can actually have a solid case behind why you think what you think, because people are going to think whatever they want to think, right? So that was just kind of, the goal of today was to just hopefully give some information to empower people to have those conversations or to make even better decisions, solidify how they already feel, or maybe just give them more information, because, knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you know. But I'm so sorry that the MetaMask doesn't work. You're amazing. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I think we had a really good turnout. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for spending your time, Sarah. I can't wait to talk offline with you further. And let's do this again sometime, guys. This is the coolest. Okay. You guys are all amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.